Welcome, everyone.
Attention, Power Club.
We tried. Teacher voice in effect.
Right.
June and I'm Jessica, by the way. We'd like to welcome you to the 5th Constellation reading series. We are so happy to bring together these readers, Ray Mayer, Nastashia Minto, and Kesha Ajose-Fisher. And as always, we're happy to bring together all of you, this audience in this room. As we gather in this space, it's important for me as a settler to remember that we're gathered on the unceded traditional homelands of the Multnomah, Cathlamet, Clackamas, Tumwater, and Walla Cascade bands of the Chinook, as well as the Tualatin and Kalapuya, and many other recognized and unrecognized indigenous nations of the Columbia River. And we say this not as empty words, but as an invitation or reminder to learn more about the specific broken promises, including the 1855 treaty on which the city and state rest, and to find ways to concretely and materially support indigenous sovereignty and
land back.
Land back. And we say this also with the intention to make good use of this time. Before we get started, we also want to thank Lance Cleland and Tin House and Bishop and Wild and Tyler and Melissa. This is the first reading that we've had with Bishop and Wild as a partner too in this space, and it is a beautiful space, and we're so excited to be here. And we want to thank both Tin House and Bishop and Wild for their generosity in opening this space to us. And thanks to each of you for your consideration in honoring our COVID policy and looking out for each other. So masks during the reading. Afterwards, we'll bring some food and wine down to the landing. And we'll also have some food and wine and bubble water and stuff available upstairs on the 3rd floor. So there will be social time after. There will also be an opportunity to buy books, and we'll have more details about that after. And maybe you're here because you know one of the readers, or because you know us, or because you know the bookstore, but we hope you come back. We're here every month except July and December. You can add your name to our mailing list if you find our website, which is, I think, constellationreading.com. I'll make the website. And there are restrooms just around the corner, and also there's one upstairs. And without further ado, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
I have the great honor of introducing Ray Abraham Mayer and welcoming her to this space. I know Ray because we worked on a political campaign together, and she was the Fearless campaign manager. And it was such an empowering, wonderful experience to work with her. She leads fearlessly and with compassion and deep listening, and figures out what people's skills and strengths are, and gives them a lot of trust and says, go, you can do it. I did social media work for this particular campaign, and I had never done that before, and she was just like 110% behind me, mentoring me, coaching me, giving me tons of faith, and it was such an amazing experience. And I know your whole life probably people have been like, oh, your name is Ray because you're a ray of sunshine. But like, for real, this person just glows and shines, and everywhere she is, just brings love and joy, kindness, and just has a ferociousness that's pretty freaking awesome too. Okay. Ray is a poet and writer all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. She grew up speaking English at school and Afrikaans at home, surrounded by family. Ray was born into the apartheid system, which shaped everything from the hospital where she was born to the cemetery where her mother, Valerie, who first encouraged Ray to keep writing, was laid to rest in 2015. After high school, Ray studied journalism and landed a dream job writing in Afrikaans for a women's magazine. In Portland, she has worked a mosaic of roles in creative and activism spaces as an organizer, an advocate, a mentor, an educator, a friend, a guiding light. She has studied English, Afrikaans, Mandarin, French, and Dutch, and has started learning ASL. Recently, Ray has focused on rest and creativity. She is such a role model for so many people. Her writing maps her origin story as a queer girl growing up in the church. And it deals with grief, the grief of losing her mother, and marvels about love and other bright things. Please welcome Ray.
Oh, bios, am I right? I'm emotional. I'm awkward. Like, was that about me? You know, I wrote that, right? So is this thing on?
No.
It's not.
Do you want to
Should we
try?
try it? Let's go.
I mean, do y'all want to try it?
Can you hear?
Yeah, what about the person right at the back? Yeah. You can hear me? Okay, I can hear you too. Okay, so, Janae, I love you so much. That was very generous. You made me feel so emotional and no one has even started dating yet. But I'm so glad that, you know, our paths have crossed. And yeah, I love having you in my life. So please, a round of applause for Janae. You guys, I'm so excited. And actually, on my dad's side of the family, when we get excited, our nose starts to switch, you know. I'm just gonna jab you out. But you're just gonna pretend you didn't see it, right? Do a little jab. But for real now, I'm so honored to be here. Meeting with these incredible authors. They don't know it yet, but after tonight, they will be my cousin. So give it up. And oh my goodness, my heart feels so warm right now and so big because I have like my husband is here. You can give it up to you if you want. That's up to you, that's your choice, right? But I've got a neighbor here and I've got friends and their partners. And so I just want to say I love you so much, each and every one of you that is here. Okay, stop crying, everyone. I'm going to be doing 2 pieces tonight, and I want to dedicate, I don't know if my cousin will see this, but I want to dedicate them both to my cousin back home in Cape Town. Her name is Ilse Jacob, and it's her birthday on Saturday. So happy birthday, cousin. Okay, so before I start reading, I was hoping we could do a quick meditation together, if you're open to that. And I want to do that to invite some folks into the room with us that aren't here tonight, right? But completely your choice. This is such a sacred space and the energy feels so beautiful. So if you would like to join me for this quick meditation, you can close your eyes. And let's take a deep breath together to get grounded, and we'll breathe together. So let's breathe in and out. And while your eyes are still closed, you can think about who you are calling in, whether they have passed on or whether they're just in another state or another country. For me, I'm calling in my besties, my mother Valerie, and my beloved grandmother Evelyn. And if you'd like, let's take a last deep breath together to close out. I'll guide you. Let's breathe in together and out. Thank you. You may open your eyes. Now, let's start this reading. We're gonna go deep tonight. Are you ready? I think so. Okay. Deb. Okay. Lamar, do I look good? Great. Okay, thank you. So the first piece is called Checklist for When Your Mother Dies. Comfort your Auntie Eunice right after your mother gives her last breath in the hospital room. Hug for a long time while rubbing her back. Collect your mom's last items from the kind nurse, the one with a small food stain on her scrubs. Go down to the morgue in the hospital basement. Grab my jacket from the car first. Return oxygen machine at home. Return unused medication to the chemist. Hide your mother's journal. Water her plants. Collect death certificates from the Home Affairs office. Choose a good photo for the death announcement and funeral pamphlet. Post death announcement on Facebook. Submit family death leave of absence at work. Wait for approval. Call your cousin Matthew on the train home from work to ask if he can sing Forever Young, but the Joan Baez version. It must be that version, because that was one of our favorite songs. Ask Conrad if he can help with the slideshow for the funeral. Send him the photos. Make sure the family plot is available on Saturday, March the 13th. Wait for approval. Start funeral plans. Make sure all the brothers, uncles, and other men feel included. Make a list of all the people who call the landline and stock by the house with food and flowers. Find a way to thank them later. Send thank you cards to the nurses at Panorama Hospital and Cape Gate Hospital. Pick out a coffin. Don't forget to show up with payment in cash. Pick out a coffin dress for your mother. Rent extra chairs for the service at the house. Remind Auntie Feroza to make enough chicken curry. Ask Uncle Ron if he can organize a traffic escort from the church to the graveyard. Buy black dress, clean black hair, take black shoes out of the back of the cupboard. Spring clean the house before the funeral to get rid of that dead smell. Book the community hall for after tears. Eat something small on the day of the funeral so you don't faint. Pack enough tissues for all the cousins and aunties. Hold on to Oma's arm at church when you walk to the front row so you don't faint. Remember to tell your namesake Auntie Ray that the yellow roses are stunning. Mom would have loved it. Smile when you see Auntie Rochelle, who traveled all the way from Port Elizabeth and did an amazing job with the flower arrangement. Thank all of your colleagues individually. Make sure everyone feels seen and appreciated for making it to after tears. Spend extra time with Uncle Randall because his lung cancer is back. Silently curse cancer while he tells the jokey bird before and lands another perfect punchline. Wonder if he's your favorite uncle. Go hug his daughters, Deirdre, Alvina, and Janelle. Take updated group family photos with the Abrams side and the Mormon side. Try to stand next to Uncle Randall. He's your favorite. Stay hydrated. Eat some curry. It turned out very nice. Smile and nod at every guest and reply, thank you. Thank you, really. Thank you so much when they say, sorry for your loss. It was like a hum. I know. It was like, yeah, I felt it. Thank you for receiving that. It was emotional. Thank you. I felt it. Okay, let's all cry for 1 second. Cry and jab. We get that on a t-shirt. Yeah, I think loving the energy, like I said, that was beautifully received. I appreciate it. So I was wondering, how are we feeling about some audience participation? I know my neighbor Molly is down. She requested this, so if it bombs, it's Molly's fault, right? Yeah. So are we feeling yay or nay?
Go.
Okay, but how do we feel about singing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know, Amy Winehouse, Valerie? Oh, they know and they love it. Okay. So are you ready to practice? Yes, okay. So it's, won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie, right? Okay. So when I go, won't you come on over? You go, stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Something shifted. I don't know. You're tricky. So just follow it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna practice together. Okay, then remember I go, won't you come on over, and then we sing together, right? Okay. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over? It's soft, but okay. I don't know what you think, because was it a bit soft or we ready to go?
I think they were.
Okay, you are all star students. Yes. Each one of you, yes, is a star. Okay. So we're ready to sing, right? Okay, beautiful. Okay, this is my last poem, and this is the last thing I'll ask of you. Okay, the poem is called For Valerie. That was my mom, right? Oh, I'm really thirsty. Okay. Oh, hydrate everyone. Is that okay? Lamar, do I look good? You look great. Okay. Okay, so this poem is called For Valerie. And for this one, we'll try and sing at the same time. The last time I sang happy birthday to my mom, she turned 50 years old. Her birthday fell on Good Friday. It was a miracle that she was still with us after being sick with stage 3 breast cancer for 2 years. We kept the birthday party small, just some cousins, aunties, uncles, and friends. After a delicious supper of grilled meats, which we call braai, and salads, the birthday girl asked everyone to form a circle around her. And we all had to tell her why we love to celebrate her. For me, the ask was too big. My list was too long. Mommy, thank you for everything. You know what I mean. She looked at me with teary eyes and said, I want to go to the beach. Let's go to Sea Point. Sea Point is our favorite beach in Cape Town. We quickly hopped into 2 cars and got there in no time. We had the whole beach to ourselves. It felt like a private party. We could see the waves crashing from our parking spot. Everything felt salty. I was grabbing chips and champagne from the trunk when my mom turned the car radio all the way up. It was Amy Winehouse singing Valerie. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over? My mom kicked off her shoes and started dancing right there on the pavement. She was dancing with her hands over her head and laughing with her head thrown back. All you can see is pearly white. Her laugh was one of my favorite sounds. We all laughed and clapped, clapped, clapped. That's your song, Valerie, her sister Tessa shouted. 2013, 10 years ago. That was the last time we celebrated Mother's Day together. It was a Sunday, of course. I got up early to prepare the champagne breakfast in bed, timed everything so that her song would be playing when me and my brother Ronaldo walked down the hallway into her bright bedroom. We didn't hear my dad pull up outside. He's the church guide. Suddenly the music went quiet and then it just turned off. My mood went sour. This whole fucking morning is ruined, I said using my body language. After my dad and brother left with their suits and ties and Bibles, my mom came into the living room, pulled me up from the couch, started the song from the beginning, and turned the volume back up. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over? Still in our pajamas, we danced in a circle, throwing our arms up, smiling at our good fortune, the miracle of us being mother and daughter. You're gonna marry a foreign man one day, she'd always tell me. Weird, but okay. But yes, that's my American husband, John. She was right. When we started dating, we did meet the family tour in Cape Town and Portland. Back home, every auntie, uncle, and friend drilled or fried their best meats for John and made their best dishes and cakes to welcome him. But my mother couldn't feed him her chicken curry or chicken with lemons from the backyard or her apple tart with fresh cream. She couldn't keep bringing more food, more drinks, and more sweets to the love of my life. My mother and my husband met in a graveyard on a quiet weekday. Years later, at our wedding reception, when the MC introduced us as a married couple for the first time ever, DJ Cessna played my mom's song. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over? In the wedding photos, my auntie Tessa and my mom's friend, Auntie Elizabeth, are standing up out of their seats with their heads thrown back, clapping, clapping, clapping. There's a photo of my cousin Ilse, the birthday girl, and Tesleen, singing along with their whole bodies. Here they all are at my wedding, just like they were that night in Sea Point when we celebrated my mom's 50th. And when I look at it like that, we were all just dancing for Valerie. I'm laughing because of happiness. But thank you. I could tell that you felt and received that. But I was thinking we could do it one last time. And if you are willing and able to stand up, and then we're going to sing it together. And that's the last thing we'll do. Thank you. Oh, wow. That would be what else will they do for me? Okay. Let's do it one more time loud for my mommy to wish her a happy Mother's Day. Won't you come on over? Won't you come on over? Thank you. I'm Valerie's daughter. My husband. I'll have to talk after these, right? It's my special role. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Betty.
Do you need a minute?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm gonna take a breath with all of you.
Okay, yeah.
I am so happy to be able to introduce Kesha Ajose-Fisher. Kesha is the author of the award-winning collection of stories, No God Like the Mother, award-winning of the Oregon Book Award, by the way. Which focuses on the lives and realities of women who have been tasked with holding up the sky while the world whispers, "You're doing it wrong." She has also earned a number of prestigious awards for other essays and stories she has written over the years, including the Phoenix Literary Magazine's Editor's Choice Award for short fiction in both 2011 and 2012. Her writing has been published in several online and print collections and in such publications as the Multicultural Familia Magazine, the Alchemy Literary Magazine, and twice in Beyond Black and White Magazine. Kesha is committed to fighting for social justice, and her dedication to this cause can be seen in everything she does. She previously worked in social services and is a vocal advocate for immigrants and refugees as she championed equality and education while opposing the poverty that plagues humanity. Kesha Ajose-Fisher was born in Chicago and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. She now lives in Oregon with her family and can be found writing, reading, and cooking for friends and family, traveling, raising her teenagers, cuddling with her puppy, and lighting her social justice. We said that already. But on a personal note, I did an event with Kesha at Annie Bloom's just a few weeks ago, like just last month. And, you know, she just approached it with such warmth and care and intelligence. And I thank you so much for it. I had admired your writing, of course, and your presence in the literary community, but just the care that you took meant a great deal for me. And I knew immediately that we would want to have you here, and I'm so happy that it worked out to be this one. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you for the mask too, because my singing voice sounds like I have the whooping cough. And also thank you for sharing. How I look. Like I lost my mother similarly 9 years ago, and I don't know that I don't think of her every single day since. Thank you, House, for having me here tonight. Thank you to all of you for showing up for this event. It's always difficult to pack the spaces with people. So anytime I see bodies in the seats, I'm grateful. As just said, my name is Kesha Ajose-Fisher. I wrote this book called No God Like the Mother.
Hey!
You know, I like to say that it's a tribute to all the mothers in the world for all the various ways they show up for us. But I think, if I'm being honest, it's really from the devastation of watching my mother, who I consider a goddess, a god, the whole world. Watching her pass away reminded me tonight exactly how difficult it is to watch the sky literally fall and still have to go on. I couldn't decide which story I wanted to read out of this tonight. But I think, again, Ray, you helped me. And we will do this one. I've lived in this country for almost 30 years, and I had my children very young. The story isn't particularly about me, but I also lived with a Nigerian aunt who was adamant about always doing the right thing and making the right choices and being ready for the world. And this story came about when I wanted to share about that experience as a young teenage mother. Who had to go it alone and discovering what it's like in the middle of the night when that baby wakes up and wants only you and the entire planet. So this story is titled Nobody's Child. I won't start from the very beginning because it's so long.
We want to hear.
Well, no, we don't have time. To put kids to bed and no. They're fine, they're fine. No, but I was fine that this part of the story, is, I know, that's right. Okay. This part of the story is when this young mother who's about 17 years old is home with the baby and discovers the one thing that comes, the lesson that comes quickly to every mother who's had to tend to a child in the middle of the night. Nobody's child. Tia hated the night. Josephine had come to loathe it herself and felt anxious after their evening walks. Routine and exercise, the doctor said, would silence the throbbing inside her chest. But nothing in the world was more terrifying than being afraid all the time. Fear had become the only constant in Josephine's days. Fear of permanent insomnia, fear of the struggle, fear of unraveling again. Some nights Josephine could get away with just singing Tia to sleep. At times, Tia needed a bubble bath and lotion rub down, and she would just jet her legs when the soft bristles of a brush ran across her scalp. Wrapped in the yellow that complemented her russet skin, Tia would then nurse and fall into a milk-loaded stupor, much in the way those Johnson & Johnson commercials promised motherhood would be. On the night Guy cracked open for the second unraveling, Tia was asleep. Josephine had washed the dishes and cleaned up the toys. After sipping hot tea from beginning to end, she decided to take a bath, a slow, quiet bath, without regard for cleansing. But it was then, just as the water began to settle her soul, that the baby girl announced her presence. At first, Josephine questioned having heard a sound muffled by the door between them, and she stretched her neck to hear. She wrapped herself in a robe, only to be met by silence. Back in the tub, she waited. Her shoulders remained tense, and warmth would not restore itself across her body. She waited for Tia's sharp, sorry, I don't know who wrote this. She waited for Tia's sharp. When it came, it moved itself clear across their studio apartment, declaring that all was wrong in the world. Mother, fix it, fix it, fix it. Dripping in soapy water, Josephine picked Tia up and rocked her. She sat, she stood, she sang. She walked in circles until dizziness slowed her. She stared at a bare wall, defeated. She had heard this worked, ignoring to conquer. Baby accepted the challenge. Steadily, Tia's crying took shape, mounting from low to thunderous. The jutting of her legs was no longer due to pleasure. Sweat gathered on her scalp, sweat gathered on both of their faces. Josephine stared out the window as her daughter screamed and the metal bars appeared impassable. Mothering should not be this difficult. The urge to leave should not be this strong, but she wished to go outside where it was quiet, where it was calm. A mother ought not to abandon her child, she knew, but she was surviving without hers, wasn't she? The sky had not collapsed when she had to go it alone. The world continued its spin. However, when it broke open that night, the sky had also poured out more darkness than Josephine had ever known. As the urge to silence her baby dragged her to the steps of total disentanglement, a place no mother can ever come back from, Josephine placed her baby on the bed and left the room. On the other side of the door, she planted an ear against the wood and hoped for silence. The lower the crying became, softer the thumps in her chest. Mother and child had room now, room to sob separately until fatigue conquered agony. On one side, Tia had fallen asleep. On the other, Josephine gazed stoically at the cold bath. When Josephine returned to Tia, the baby had kicked her blanket loose and found comfort in suckling one of its corners. Josephine saw her daughter's inflamed face and saturated pearls and felt her own panic return. After stifling the rising dread with a forced, heavy breath, she cradled her baby and cried, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Babies cry. That baby was only doing what was most instinctive, said one of the neighbors when Josephine apologized for the boisterous night. The older woman walked over and stood close enough to share the air. "Have dinner with me. Bring yourself and baby, and we can be alive together under the moon." I'll pause there. I think it's a good point for break. I just remembered always having surrogates who showed up in my life always at the right time. And I know tonight is, we don't want to break hearts all night. But it's hard being female out there and show up every day as one. It's hard existing as a human being overall. But I think my purpose is to tell stories about what the world is showing me, and sometimes it's a little sad. Yeah, and then sometimes it's great. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there for tonight. Thank you all. Yeah. Let's just take a moment. And just breathe. Let's follow. Just breathe. Just breathe together for a moment. Inhale. The world is not an easy place to be in sometimes. If it helps to be in your body, because it doesn't, be in your body. Feel yourself in the seat. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the temperature of the air. Give the space, be present. All of the sounds. Perfect. As planned. The sadness is so interesting because it's so healing at the same time. To have our hearts back open a little bit together in community with strangers. I know, like, five of y'all, right, having such experience together. About mothers and loss. Making visible things that aren't always visible. Sharing this together. This is kind of when Jessica and I talk about what we want for this event. It's really like this. Like, how can we bring people together who might not have natural, easy opportunities to be together? To like be in these words and in this art where people share like such deep parts of themselves with us that we like feel too.
pretty amazing.
We get to hear
Did I take the thing? I took the thing. I don't know. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Kind of a perfect transition. I started reading Nastashia's book this week, Naked, the rhythm and the groove of it, the depth and the length to it, and it's a poetic memoir. And how you find it? Maybe I'll buy it. I think so. I think we got books to buy. But it's I mean, it's called Naked for a reason. It's really just like, here I am, I'm opening up my process of healing and my like deepest experiences so that you as readers can heal from my experiences. So it's kind of perfect that you're doing the end and wrapping it up with this. So thank you for being here. Can you guys hear in the back still? It's okay, okay. Nastashia Minto.
Nastashia Minto.
Nastashia Minto is a local Portland writer and author of Naked, the rhythm and groove of it, the depth and length to it, a poetic memoir. Born in South Georgia and raised by their grandparents, Nastashia's experiences led them to obtain an associate degree in occupational therapy and a bachelor's degree in psychology. They are an eccentric spiritual dream tender, have been writing since they were 9 years old, and has found that writing offers a way to not only help herself, but others as well. She is a 2021 recipient of the TAN Foundation Awards. She has performed and worked in with middle and high school students and teachers throughout Portland and Gresham. Her work has appeared in Nailed, Gobshake Quarterly, Portland Metrozine, Susan the Journal, The Unchained Anthology, Survivor Lit, and Heron Plan 8.
Yeah.
She's featured on podcasts such as Covenant Book Club, Literary Speaking, and Beyond Well with Sheila Hamilton. She is a popular featured reader in Portland and Seattle reading series, including Powell and Seattle Folklife. So please welcome.
Yeah.
You know, we have things set up a certain way, and we're like, I have this planned out. Like you said, I was wondering what I was gonna read. And because I get really nervous at these things, I am a Capricorn stellium, deep in my chart. So I had it planned out, but what I didn't have planned out is that you two talking about y'all's mothers and all my friends. Yeah, so it's only been 2 years that my mother has passed away, and so this Mother's Day, I did not celebrate because grief choked me. So I was not gonna start with the song. It's just only a like almost like a hymn. If you ever been to any of the Black churches, it's just part of it, but it's not the entire thing. And then I'm gonna start with the poem that I always start with. The people who've heard me read, they know I start with an invitation poem, which is to invite my ancestors here to be with me, and now my mother to be. So I'm gonna give it a try, but I am shaking. Yes, I am. Okay. May I move this?
Shake and sing, shake and sing.
Shake and sing. Thanks, I will. Is it working? I don't know if it's working. We'll just use it for a little bit for this one, and then the last one. The rest of the time I'm gonna probably stand up. So let's see if I can. Am I still in the camera?
You are.
Still in the camera? Right. This is just an invitation, if you two don't mind, because I always ask for other people's assistance for you to be okay with that gesture. To have them here and to be here with us and to sit with us and to stand with us. So.
I call you in. I call you in with me right now. I call you in. Call you in to me. Call, Mama, be with me now. Be with me. Mama, be with me now. Be with us now. I call you in. Call you in with me. I call you in. Call you in to me. Would you be with us now? Be with us now. Yes. Oh, be with us now. Yes. Be with us now. We call you in. Taking a moment for like each person in here that has you lost someone or you lost health that's hurting here. Or you lost financially. I just it's a big loss in the room. And asking that you feel comfort. And I'm asking that you know that you are enough. And that your worth does not depend on your gift. Won't you be with us now? Be with us now. We call you in. Ooh. Ooh.
So am I becoming Harriet Tubman? Going back and rewiring my people in their mental state, leading them to freedom and truth in its physical place? Am I becoming Martin Luther King, standing with my people who have a dream, desire to be judged solely by my characteristics instead of the color of my being? Am I becoming Maya Angelou, a phenomenal woman phenomenally, writing words that we read and heard generations far beyond me? Am I becoming Oprah Winfrey, a woman they didn't want on the TV screens now owns her own network, a Black entrepreneur queen? Am I becoming Michelle Obama, the first Black first lady to hold a law degree to be written down in history, being the representation that our people of color need to see? See, we are becoming the people they never thought we would be. But I am becoming the person they never thought I would be. I mean, I was raised in an environment that was meant to devour me. I was filled with hate, so statistically, I shouldn't have survived to see 28. I mean, from the crack cocaine in my genes, it seems as if I should have been another statistic. An alcoholic, drug abuser, unsuccessful, fully addicted, but I begin to break chains. 25 years old, neuroplasticity made new connections in my brain. I retrained and reframed from the things that were keeping me farther away from me. I mean, can't y'all see? Can't y'all see the roadblocks and detours that were keeping me away from my destiny? But I am destined, you see, to be something great, because I refuse to allow this society to give me a predetermined death date. So I purposely pull from the roots that engulf me, the same ones that suffocate but also love me, the same ones that tell me to speak, but they also hush me. So I am so thankful and grateful for the people who have passed before me, because you've endured many things, but you've never given up on a vision of what you could be. So
So I had to put myself in these environments so that I could see, so that I can be the best version of myself that I am becoming. Oh.
Oh, I told you not to do that.
Right. I'm gonna try this next one. I don't know. Is titled, and that one was titled Becoming. And I should say that, yes, this is my book, Naked. Thank you. And I am super excited, like I was telling some friends today, I just done another like deal to have a book come out in the fall. Barbie, that's what that was about. Yeah. So the one I just did is in the new collection, and the one I'm gonna attempt is also in the new collection. Maybe I should read some from this one. But this one is titled Trauma Genes, and I titled it that because I'm always trying to think about ways of like how has secondhand trauma affected me. So maybe something didn't happen to me, but I witnessed it, as many of us have witnessed a lot of stuff, and it affects us, and it lives in our bodies, and it lives in our DNAs, and we pass that on. So some people may say it's woo-woo or whatever, but no, like, that is scientifically proven, like it tags on our DNA. Yes. Right. Right. So this one, as you just heard before, I so much did not want to be like my mother or my aunt or my uncle, all the people in my family. My grandmother had 8 kids, and out of 8, only 1 was not on drugs. And so I said, I do not want to be on drugs. I do not want to have kids at a young age. And then I was like, I don't want to have kids. And so this one is titled Trauma Gene. I can't even begin to explain trauma and how it affects the connections in our brain. I mean, A to T, C to G, bad connections in these DNA strands, broken down through every blood cell that runs its course through me. And I get new blood cells every 120 days. They made in these bones. I should be strong, and the newness I should see. But see, I was born from the broken DNA of the generation that came before me. So this trauma is deeply tangled in my lymphatic system, causing my body to wreak havoc. And I'm experiencing these mental breakdowns because I'm repeating these same learned bad habits. And see, I can't conceive what it would look like to succeed or be emotionally stable within me, because I only know how to process this enzyme from the trauma blood that I bleed. So I plead with my ancestors, please allow me to be free. And how do we escape the sickle-shaped blood that continues to pain me? And they boldly said to break cycles to get free, break cycles to get free, break cycles to get free, as if I knew how to break the cycles of the trauma genes in me. Macrophage destroys and clean up all the old debris, making space in this body to obtain new energy. Because they said it ain't gonna be easy, because bad cycles are like disease. So let's encode new information on our DNA to break up the cycles of the trauma genes. Break cycles to get free, break cycles to get free, break cycles of the trauma genes. I did it. Okay. This is very opened up with a meditation. Most of y'all know that I also do a lot of meditation as well. And I just want to close it down with a meditation. And this one is the song that I wrote for myself, because I started therapy 4 years ago. And I remember the first time my therapist gave me a homework assignment. And the assignment was to play. But those of you who have been through some things in your life, and if you didn't have a childhood, or you don't know what it's like to be a child, someone asking you to do something that's so vulnerable as play, it breaks. I was mad with her. I told her, it's like, no, I'm going to work. That's what I'm doing. And so instead of playing out that, like she told me, I played my guitar. And the song, it first come with chorus. That's all I kept feeling was the chorus, the chorus. And then the lyrics started coming. And it's just saying, come back home, come back home, come back home. And that is me saying to myself, because it's so easy to numb ourselves. It's so easy to disassociate. And sometimes we have to. So hear me out. Sometimes to protect your being, you have to, you must, you need to.
Right.
And so I said, I want to be able to feel. I want to know what it's like to feel. And then I realized it's so overwhelming. But that's the beauty about feeling, is that you can also say, that's enough, and I need a break. And so this is a part of a meditation, and also my last piece, because I'm really, really shaken and I don't think I can do anymore. Thank y'all so much. And it's titled Come Back Home, and it's also one of my newer songs in this collection. I'll let you see on that. See. We can do this. Why do you run from me, run from me, run from me? Run from me, run from me, run from me. Come back home. Home. Why do you run from me, run from me, run from me, run from me? Come back home. Come back home. Because Grandma, I'm afraid of what I will see. What I will become when I stop running. When I start humming to the ancestral vibrations. Breaking chains, call that DNA liberation. And see the power of my mind and tongue, call that manifestation. And I'm calling all of my works into fruition. And yeah, I'm speaking of light works in premonition. Because we're fighting a fight that's systemically deep. And we care for these paper cut wounds that cover our body. But see, I'm a walking gun and my words are the bullets. So I'm intentional with my speech and I'm careful when I pull it. But I can hear my ancestors say, go live your life to the fullest. To stop running and live in your authentic fullness. And come back home. Come back home. Come back home. Run, come back home.
Tonight. There is a table for book signing at the back. Bishop and Wild is open for business. We'll have some food and wine brought down here to the landing, and some will still be upstairs, so we can kind of spread out and mingle, meet tonight's readers. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you to our readers. This was. Adjourned.